Microphone test.
That sounds good. That sounds really loud. Let me turn you down a little bit.
Ha ha ha. Just kidding.
You've got a good PA system voice, though, I think.
I've never heard that before, ever.
All right, I'm just going to, we've got engagement quiz and then introduce you. 087 is the code. I'm going to leave just so I'm not going to pull any time from Kara here. I'm going to leave that open for 60 minutes. And you can, and the question is, list 3 organizations that interest you for a Shoot for Good Muncie project. That's what that should say. And I've got it hyperlinked there to go straight to the Get Involved page on Shoot for Good Muncie. Kara, we do, as part of this capstone, we all plan an event, and it's called Shoot for Good Muncie. And it's basically, we spend an entire, historically it had been done in 24 hours, but now we're stretching it out to about a week or more. And we just go out and photograph people volunteering during a certain period in April. So that's what this is.
Oh, cool.
The whole class is planning that.
So that's a part of your capstone?
Yeah.
Class?
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah, with our capstone. So you're doing, this is all for your capstone, right?
Yeah, our capstone, like, it's 2 semesters long, so it started in September or August, and then this semester as well. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Ours is very complex. And it's 1 semester long, but they can take the capstone a couple of times, although I have a couple of maniacs who want to do 6 credits at once.
Oh my gosh. Oh wow, yeah, that's different. I'm always so interested to hear how other like programs do it.
Oh yeah. Well, this one was definitely hybrid, and it was kind of my chair's idea, but you know, we ran with it. Anyway, so I have been part of Kara's capstone, and Kara is who you are hearing there. This is probably not the most flattering picture, I guess, Kara, that I got of you, but
I was gonna say.
all right, here's a better one. That one actually gets Josh in there as well. So that was our last session, which was last week, right? Was it last week? Yeah, it was last week.
Yeah, was
Maybe
it?
the week before.
Week before, probably, or was it last week? Was it I don't know.
I don't know.
Times.
So Ed Kashi is there. Kristen McNichols, who was at the at Kalish as well, and I met Kara at Kalish at the Kalish workshop. Kara was one of the student assistants, picked me up at the airport. Yeah, just an awesome student and human being. Kara, let's see. You remember this from the Kalish, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So anyway, I'm going to get out of your way, and I'm just going to go ahead and introduce you to the group here. And I think just talk about your story. I think where's, okay, stop share. We'll do that. And you know what? I need to turn on sharing for you.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Where are they putting it these days? Participants, that's not it. Host tools, there we go. Share screen. All right, you should be able to share the screen.
Alrighty. So I first just like put together a little PowerPoint just to introduce myself, because I think it all makes sense then. Let me share.
So cute.
Yeah, this is my personality, very bubbly. So my name is Kara Gildea. I'm a senior photojournalism student at Rochester Institute of Technology in Rochester, New York. And for our senior capstone project, we basically work on like a 8 to 10 month long story, and it can be like still video or still pictures, video, audio, multimedia, really whatever you want to make it. So yeah, I'm going to talk to you about kind of like my process of coming up with my idea and like dealing with how hard it's been, but. Okay, but I think we should start at the very beginning. So all of these things, this is a picture of me in like 2007 in Alaska, but all these things are not like inherently unique, but I think when put together, it like makes me me and it makes me like be able to do the work that I do. So yes, I was an only child of divorced parents, meaning I learned to entertain myself and converse with adults at a very early age, so probably being mature at an early age. And I was very used to entertaining myself, so I would draw a lot, watch a lot of documentaries on like emergency rooms or prisons or just anything crazy that like an 8-year-old probably like wouldn't normally watch. But I think like stuff like that distracted me from kind of like what was going on with my dysfunctional family. I also am from Cooperstown, New York. It's a very like rural town. It's where the Baseball Hall of Fame is. And we had no like arts program in school. So I really dedicated my summers to like photography and taking classes and just photographing my friends. And this is my cat Goose, which is a great therapy animal. He's a Maine Coon. This is just a picture of just like what it looks like near my house, just like farms and my friends and snow. And I also like to do like other art. So this is, and I love the Grateful Dead. So this is like a Grateful Dead song poster I made with like stamps a couple years ago. But yeah, Cooperstown's home to the Baseball Hall of Fame, which I will get into soon. So now let's look at some pictures. I wanted to take you guys through like my process a little bit. So basically, I'll like start, this is just like little tips too. When you're working on your capstone, I don't know if you guys do this, but like use like Miro like board, like, and also like make things physical. So that's really helped me. But okay.
We've got I don't know that any students have started using it yet, but we use Milanote here. Although I do think I like Miro a lot, actually.
Yeah, I haven't been the best user of Miro for my committee, but I think it could be very helpful for people. So you can still see this, right?
Yes.
Okay. Oh no, the light shut off.
What
So
happened?
my
Oh.
friend's turning it back on.
Okay.
Maybe I'll put him on for like 4 seconds each.
Yeah.
And I'll kind of talk through it. So yeah. I come from a very like dysfunctional family. Basically, my grandpa passed away last year. And after that happened, my mom kind of, is this too fast? Do you want me to slow this down?
You can also hit escape and then
Yeah,
Command L, and you can use the spacer bar.
yeah, okay, I'll do that because I'm like, ah, okay. So these images are from like when my grandpa just had passed away a few years ago. And he was kind of like the glue that held my family together because he like made everyone's decisions. Um, yeah, he was just like the definition of a family man. And once he passed away, like my grandma started like having like really bad like dementia and forgetting like not so much short-term or long-term things, but like more short-term memory loss. And so okay, I'm trying to think of how to easily explain this. But after my grandpa passed, basically my aunt, she's been clean from drugs, like cocaine for 20 years, but has struggled my whole life with like mental health issues like bipolar disorder, like borderline personality disorder. So my grandpa would very much like always take care of her. And he had polio as a child. So I think he and her were very connected because they were both like sick. So, but when he passed away, like that support of her like just getting money from him and everything kind of went away and went to my mom. So my mom has been dealing with taking care of my grandma who has dementia, and also her sister, my aunt, who is a drug addict now. She's been in like a relapse, like drug binge for like the last 4 years. So my mom's literally had to like go to hotel rooms and like drag her out and like just try to like we've like put her through rehab. We've done a lot of things, but like nothing's really like working. So yeah, these are just some pictures from like my mom and my grandma. Detail. Basically, the big thing that's been going on is my mom had to move my grandma into like an assisted living facility to like not only help with like her memory, but also like to protect her from my aunt and her own daughter, because she'll take advantage of her and like steal her things or call her and manipulate money out of her. So yeah, this was the day that she was moving into the assisted care facility. Yeah, like my family, it's like, it's very, like they get mad at her, but of course she can't help it, like with the memory loss. So like this is them making her eat like lunch outside. On the porch, because she kept asking like the same questions. And then my aunt, the one who's an addict, had just been staying with her, and her and my grandma's engagement ring had gone missing. So this is them, my mom taking her to the police station to try to like put in a report about the ring, but my grandma was just like, she wouldn't do that. I lost it. Like she didn't think Kim would steal it, my aunt. Yeah. So, and this has been like very difficult for me because I kind of try to separate myself from my family. Like I go to school in Rochester, so I stay in Rochester. So going home and doing this, I kind of expose myself to a lot more. And we'll get into that with my aunt. But yeah, like this is like my mom making my grandma take a plant to like the plant room at her new apartment complex, because she kept asking like how many times, like, did she like water it yet or whatever. But yeah, this is obviously like taken a huge toll on my mom, and that's kind of like what I want to focus this story on, is like this, how this cycle of addiction is like affecting everyone, especially her. She's been like picking a bald spot in her head, and that's my grandma. Like she still has like motherly instincts. Of course, she's like checking on it. My mom's a real estate agent. She's pretty much stopped working to like take care of her sister and her mom. It's my grandma. And like for her, yeah, it's like been a huge loss of my grandpa. And it's different because she has dementia, you can't really tell. Like she doesn't have a lot of emotion, so she doesn't get upset really. And like you see her here like reading a book, like it's very hard to visually show the dementia. I think that's been a struggle. But yeah, my mom taking care of like all the things that like my grandpa used to do for the family. Like this is her doing like all my grandma's taxes. My mom lost in the leaves. Okay, and this is my Aunt Kim. She's right now living in, okay, well, this is her at a dog park, but she just recently got evicted from her apartment because she like sold the washer and dryer out of it. And oh, it's not that good. She's now living in a hotel, but this is when she was still in her apartment. So, and this is honestly, like, we're very close, my aunt. We have like the same sense of humor, like we're very close. And this has been like super hard for me to see her like this, because I would not normally like be there for this, obviously. This is when she also like abuses or doesn't take correctly her like mental health medicine. So this is her with like one of her last anxiety pills that she's like saving. This was when we were trying to take her to rehab one time. Yeah, telling body language. But yeah. Everyone yeah, you can see everyone's kind of like checked out in my family about it, but they kind of just have to keep paying for things for her because she like goes after my grandma if they don't. So they're kind of just caught in this cycle. It's me in a box of stuff that she's moving. The rehab place. Yeah, this is her like having a meeting with like a rehab place, but she didn't end up going there. Oh, yeah, and my mom was like trying to tell her to like say, like give up her dog because that's like a big reason she won't go into treatment. Yeah, there's the dog. Yeah, okay. There's me in the window. My grandma like tagging along with my mom places. It's cool. My mom took this picture of me. I love this one. This kind of shows like just like what the area I live around looks like, these kind of buildings. And my grandma following my mom. And yeah, it's another one of her picking. Her Scout, my cat. Yeah, there's just a bunch of like also funeral cards in my grandpa. That's been like a pattern you can see throughout in a lot of the pictures, as he's always kind of present. And that's something I really want to convey. And I have a really bad habit of picking my face. So if there's anything like a scab or a pimple or anything, I'll rip it off my face. So this is like my mom picks her head, like I'll like pick things off my face. So I was trying to show that. And like, this is my mom like cutting my own fingernails. So I don't do that. Cause she's like, my beautiful daughter, you ruined your face. So yeah, it's really bad. This is Kim reading her eviction notice. Some detail pictures. Yeah, and then I started to notice what was really hard about this project was taking a step back and realizing things that like I see every day about my family that maybe are like interesting that I just see as like mundane or like, so basically my family like writes down a lot of stuff. Like they have a ton of like notes. Like, I don't know if it's like journaling or just writing down little sentences. Like this is basically what my aunt was gonna say to a judge because she like got caught like fleeing from police. And I just thought it was interesting that it was for like a fleeing from police charge, like in a car, and it's like written on the back of an Easy Pass like envelope. That was just funny. But anyway, yeah, like my grandpa in the background again. But yeah, basically I started noticing like handwriting and I gathered a lot of archival material. And I'm gonna get into showing you what I'm turning it into, but yeah, this is like Thanksgiving when Kim didn't show up. That's my aunt. That's my other aunt. Yeah, my grandparents used to like send out, like my grandpa was pretty well known. He used to, because of the Baseball Hall of Fame, he used to send out like 500 Christmas cards a year to like everyone, like the person who like mowed their lawn like 25 years ago, like to everyone, because they want to make sure everyone like got a Merry Christmas or like a Happy New Year. So after he passed away, my mom made my grandma cut it down to 200 people. So this is them kind of doing that. But my grandma's like super frustrated because she kept like doing the envelopes wrong, basically. But she still wanted to help. And that's all like the envelopes we had to start over on. Next to like my grandpa's little things. Yeah, see, like new envelope, like my mom was writing little notes for her. And this is some more of my aunt. When she's like she gets really paranoid and she'll tape up like anything in her apartment that's like any holes, like with electrical tape, because she thinks it's like cameras or people watching her, and you can kind of see her arms are kind of like bruised. But I've been trying to play with like negative space too in my work, because it's gonna be a book and I want to play with that. This was like a needle next to my grandpa's funeral card from my aunt. This is one of my favorite photos from the entire thing, because she's just sitting and like contemplating, and there's blood on the wall from like when she injects. And this is the day of her eviction after all of her stuff was taken out. And she was just like sitting there, like calling my mom, like begging her to like pay for a hotel room, basically. That's what's happening here. And then this is Christmas. Basically, like, since Kim like can't really like make it to Christmas, like she was invited, but she just like couldn't get there because like, I don't know, she's using, so it's like everything just revolves around that. So my grandma can't really comprehend that she's like a drug addict, so she'll just ask all day like where Kim is on any holiday. And like that's her like talking to Kim, like being like, well, but we believe in you. And like, yeah, she can't really comprehend that what's happening. And then the moment we got home from Christmas, Kim had like gotten a huge accident and totaled her car. So that just like, yeah, that's like her 7th car in like 3 years that she's completely totaled. That my mom is like, or that my family's bought for her. And yeah, my mom on Christmas, she's like picking her head again. And this is them like going to get stuff out of the totaled car. But yeah, this just is like craziness. Okay, and then now my aunt is living in a hotel. So she's like making it like home, putting up pictures of the family. But the thing is that my family doesn't want to keep supporting her if they know the money is going to illegal things. So they are like trying to meet with her and like talk to her and like try to get her to go into a program, because right now she's just at like a standstill in this hotel. So we're just kind of like waiting for the next shoe to drop. And yeah, this is like my mom, like the whole like Christmas break, like my mom could barely get out of bed. Like she was like this, like sleeping through the day because of the toll it's taken. This is like, yeah, my grandma and her coming out of this is a hotel in the town I live in. That's like where my grandpa and grandma met. And just like a lot of like family stuff has happened there. And then, yeah, I will also show you what now I am doing.
Actually, would you show the Milo
The what?
Can you, it's not Melanote, Miro note?
Oh, the Miro board?
Yeah, yeah, the Miro board. I'm sorry.
Yes.
So I think it's interesting for people to see kind of how you organize this.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so I haven't even, so I basically started off with like research and themes. So, oh my gosh, it's gonna be really laggy on this computer, but like just listing out the different themes and like finding actual statistics and like if this like is like a wide ranging issue, and it clearly is. A lot of families are going through this, but they don't talk about it. So yeah,
If you want, I can do it on my end. It might be faster.
yeah,
Go ahead and stop sharing and I'll go ahead and,
okay.
I think I just got an update. Did you do something else to Miro last couple of days? Looked like it came in with a,
I honestly like, yes, actually, I've been using it more for my style guide than like layout purposes, but
okay.
yeah. It lags, like I can't go on my laptop because it lags so much.
Get it up now. I'll share in a second.
If I counted it up, and it seems like I've photographed like 30 or to 40 like different times for this project, which I didn't even notice like was that much. Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, all the different kind of like subtopics. Um, yeah, and also I was just like writing down like different personality traits about people because I wanted the people that were gonna be like on my committee and like my professors to like be able to actually help me. So I was like writing down notes of people. Um, yeah, long-term effects of caregiving, like also why in this country, like, is it seen like, oh my gosh, like you're an angel for like taking your mom in or like, and then in other cultures, like that's just like what you do. It's just interesting to read about.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would recommend just like doing like a lot of research. Okay, that's like this is like at first, I did not know how to organize my pictures at all. So I was trying to like organize them by like details, like symbolic things. And then I was like, this is getting too complicated. And yeah, this is just like some notes from class. Yeah, but you can like go past that. I didn't really end up
Yeah.
doing
It's
all that.
interesting though to see how you organized the work.
Yeah,
You're, basically
yeah.
just distilling it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. This is cool, but yeah, you have this in your book too.
Yeah. So yeah, like yeah, it's gonna end up being kind of like a photo. Well, the in normal the
Nina
actual
Berman.
yeah, the inspiration was a photo album or like what happens when you don't really have scrapbooks as a family or like happy memories to like record or like what happens like behind the happy memories. That's kind of like what I was going for. So
Okay. And you have your PDF. Is this your PDF here?
no, I'll share my screen again and
Ish.
I can show
Okay.
you.
This is kind of you're putting together your kind of basically a ladder diagram of the book.
Yeah, and like little stickies of like what relationships I want to like show when and that's been the really hard part is like when to reveal what and yeah, as I'm sure you all
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead and show your PDF. Like your
Yeah. Um, um, I'm gonna see everything. Okay, so I realized I had it like totally like I've been working on it. So this is like okay. This is the cover so far. I'm working on this. I want it to look like a photo album like cover, but this is like my mom and her parents and her sisters. And then it's gonna be some sort of my own like calligraphy handwriting in a neater form than this. I don't know. This is like such a bad timer light in here. Okay. Um, so this is some like scene setter pictures of my grandparents' house, the one that like my aunt, my mom like grew up in. Um, and yeah, my own writing. And then this is stuff I'm gonna work on. I want there to be some full bleed like images, like establishing like Cooperstown and like what that looks like, like the town that like my mom lives in and my grandma now, and that I grew up in because of the Baseball Hall of Fame. So I'm trying to work with like finding some images that can give that sense. Yeah. Also realness, a lot of roadkill. Just kidding. And then I want to go into like just like some establishing shots of like Kim's neighborhood, her hotel that she's living in. And then I want people to understand who everyone is. So this is what my idea. I kind of like drew little lines and their names. Um, yeah, I don't know if you guys want to read that. Um, or is it too small?
um I can read it. I grew up as the only child of divorced parents. I learned how to converse with adults from an early age. I loved drawing whimsical fantasy worlds and could read 3 books in a single day. I was independent, but I was lonely. I was lonely. I wanted someone to understand where I was coming from. I never remember wanting a sister. It was always an older brother. I envied my friends who had one, a protector, but also someone to joke with. I never wanted a sister. I already know what having a sister looked like.
But I'd already seen like conflict my mom had always had with her sisters before the drugs even started. So I won't make you like read all this, but basically, yeah, my grandpa passing away. And then me kind of talking about how I come from a family of caregivers because my grandma took care of my grandpa like his whole life pretty much because he had polio and trouble walking. And yeah, and but then at the same time, he was like her brain, like she was so anxious, like he would like calm her down. So they worked really well together. But now like my mom feels like she has to take care of everyone, so it's like a generational thing.
Mm.
Um, this is like so work in progress, but this is like my mom's earrings, like she hasn't worn in like such a long time. And like, I didn't even notice this, but my teacher would like point out things about my family and be like, ask me questions. And I'm like, I didn't even think of that or notice that because he's like, I haven't seen her like wear those earrings. And I'm like, you're right. So it kind of goes into self-esteem and everything. And like my guilt as a daughter too, and how also like she would never let me borrow the earrings because she was so traumatized from like her sister like stealing them or like, yeah. So then this is about my aunt. This is my aunt. And yeah, like we're close. Like she's like one of my favorite people in the whole world. And that's what's like really hard for me is because she's so smart. And if I know if she put her energy, she puts into drugs and other things, she could do a lot. But that's what I try to like convey here. Um, yeah. So yeah, and then the thing is like my grandparents like hardcore like enabled her, like they would buy her houses and cars, and this is like my family cleaning out a house that they had bought for her that she abandoned like during the drug episode, like a different house like a few years ago. Like there's been so many houses and apartments, it's hard to keep track of. So I'm not even gonna try to get into it. And then this is the other one. So then what else I want to talk about is like the handwriting. So this is my mom's notes, or my mom just like writing a little letter to like her father, like my grandpa after he passed away, talking about like what it like just like how she didn't know how hard it was going to be working with like being with my grandma. And so and it's like my mom's handwriting is very neat and everything. And then you'll see. And then I have Kim's like notes, like cocaine, love-hate relationship. A lot of her notes like will just like plainly like lay it out. Like I've been addicted, like I never thought I would relapse after 20 years. So, and you can also, yeah, I'll show you. But like this one, like I've always felt like a thorn in Amy's side. That's like something Kim said. And like my mom then on the other hand is just like trying to make sure she's okay. So yeah, so it's interesting to compare both of their journals. Like my aunt on the left, like she's like, I have such like a controlling sister, but then really like my mom is just worried about her and wants her to not be like dead. So yeah, it's interesting to see what they're both writing at like the same time. And yeah. And this is just, I want to like try to incorporate archival photos, obviously, like I've been talking about. And this was just like a crumpled piece of paper with these photos taped on it that I found in my aunt's apartment. And that's like the same hotel you guys saw earlier, like where they used to spend their summers. Yeah, it's the hotel. And yeah. Yeah, like 14 years clean. So yeah, I'm trying to basically lay it out into like a cohesive book because the thing is I all these journals go back to like 2020 and we've been like dealing with the same issues on repeat, like her like crashing in the car and then like scamming people to get money and then trying to get a hotel and then getting an apartment, but then selling everything out of the apartment and then getting evicted. So it's been like that whole cycle this whole time. My grandma, yeah, this is another note from her. And yeah, it's just interesting to like see how her writing changes too. Like you can tell when she's using and writing. It's just like, it's gonna be better, but I'm trying to find more things I used to write to her when I was little. Cause like she was my favorite person in the world when I was little. Like she was so funny. Then she used to like take me shopping and stuff, but a lot of times she just like wouldn't show up because of like her mental health problems. So it's like abandonment issues I still deal with today. Yeah. Yeah, I want like text to like overlay on the photos. And I'm trying to use very like short like sentences with my writing. Yeah, I'm still like honestly really working on the book, but yeah.
Yeah. No, this is due what, like end of the semester, right? You've got,
Well, the thing is yeah, it's April 4th. I have to present it, but I have to order the book. So probably by the end of the month. But the presentation basically is going to be completely different because I have to like go up to a podium and like talk about it, but I don't want to like just flip through the book. Basically what I'm going to do is play all the voicemails my mom has gotten over the past couple years of like my aunt and my grandma like repeatedly calling her, like begging her, and it's like the emotions and stuff are like all over the place and all of them. So it's just like it really just like wraps it up, like what's been going on.
yeah.
Yeah, it's another one of her just being tired, my mom. Yeah, I've seen these. Yeah, and then I'm trying to like use like old photos of them when they're little. Yeah, one of her little step things. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go for the less is more concept. Probably
Yeah.
all. Yeah. Yeah, I want to incorporate too like my mom's life like before all this. Cause it's really like taken over. Like I guess that's just like what happens too for a lot of people as their parents like get older and like you need to take care of them. But it was just
Mm.
hard for her because she like even while my grandpa was passing away, she couldn't like let her sister like be with him alone or be with my grandma alone because she would just steal things. So it's like it's like there's no peace.
Well,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, like what 23-year-old girl wants to have pimples and scars? Definitely not me. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for right now. She was in
okay.
court. But yeah,
There's about 8 minutes left. So, yeah, if you,
oh yeah, I've been incorporating like this is her like
sure.
tracing paper of like trying to get a prescription, filled to sell or use. Yeah, so I want to incorporate more elements like that. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I can ask like if you guys have questions. I
Yeah.
feel like I haven't been the most healthily like taking care of myself through this, but I can say that just like continuing to be like honest with them, like even though they're your family, like continuing to like get consent in a way and like making sure they're comfortable. Cause like my aunt, like a lot of people are like, why is she so comfortable with you? And it's just like, I don't know. I feel like developing that relationship with someone before you start photographing is so important. And then also just like being very clear with like what you're doing. Cause like we've had like during this project, my aunt and I have like screamed at each other over like things, but nothing to do with like me being there with a camera. but like, that's not healthy probably, but like,
Mhm.
but yeah, I think just like having things outside of photography too is important, but yeah.
So what questions you all have? Or what reactions do you have? Let's just talk. Let's just talk.
Yeah, give me what you got.
Can you hear me okay?
I think so.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I can come up, okay. Hi,
Hi.
I think that,
This is Jeffrey.
hi, this is Jeffrey. The like the layout of the book, I think is like, I, I think it's pretty wonderful. Especially like the design of it, how like putting the photos. What was the impetus of deciding to make it like a a book, I guess?
Book,
Yeah.
yeah. I think well, I heard this quote from Tara Pixley, who's like a photojournalist. I think in San Francisco right now or in California, but she was like before
In Philly now.
Philly now. Okay. Um, she was like, before you can like tell other people's stories, you have to tell your own or something like that. So that really like hit home to me because I feel like that is a reason that I'm able to connect with people like that is on probably not their best day. So, and then I started thinking about it. I was like, my family has like no scrapbooks or like I have no baby book or like, I don't know. Like it's never like fun when I'm with my family. Like there's always like some like drama happening. So I think that's why I wanted to have a book, like make it a book to make it something physical that like, yeah, like what happens behind like the fun memories you normally would record in like a kind of scrapbook, you know? Also, I just really, a lot of people at my school end up doing like films for their final projects, and I just wanted to do something different. And I'm just interested in like editing and stuff of books and stuff. So that's why.
Hell yeah. I'm
Yeah,
yeah, it's incredible.
thank you.
And Kara, what questions do you have for in terms of how people are for us?
Yeah.
What
Um, well, I guess you guys didn't really get to read everything, but I mean, I guess if what a big thing I'm worried about is people not being able to tell apart the people. So I guess like if you guys think it's a good way for like the beginning when I put it like this, something like this. And I'm also trying to play with like childhood, like a little bit with like the like handwritten stuff, like kind of like the not too serious, like how you would like in a scrapbook kind of. And like the little like names and of the Alaskan cruise and year and whatever. But yeah, I guess I don't know if you guys think you can tell the people apart.
It is hard to tell the people apart, but
Yeah.
one of the things I think, and we talked about this the other night when we were in the committee, that it's pretty self-evident with the way that you're using captioning and the accompanying, the text, the adjunct text to all the images. I mean, it reads reasonably well
Mhm, mhm. Yeah,
from frame to frame and page to page.
yeah, yeah, it's gonna be hard now. I need to really like start like whittling it down because yeah. Um, I don't know. I guess like is there stuff that you guys are like confused about or that you would want to like hear more about? I guess you haven't really seen the writing, but like just off the top of your head and like what areas of like life would you think would be
What are
interesting?
your responses when you see this work?
Yeah, what are
you
your
think, Carla?
responses? That's a good question.
I was very curious of how you and your family was able to keep um just keep walking together and still sticking by each other's sides throughout the entire
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah, like still showing that like I want to still show like the glimpse of like happy things, you know, because there are like little moments and like, yeah, how we're working together. Yeah.
That's a big theme, you know, the bond.
Hmm.
The family bond. And it's, you haven't talked that much about it, but it's
Yeah.
absolutely expressed, um, you know, via the third effect through all your pictures.
Yeah. And I guess that is something that's like first acknowledged because it's like, I'm just like, oh, they're not that close, but it's like they're all really close. It is like a family bond. Like that is why they're taking care of all each other, you know? So yeah, exactly.
And one thing that we didn't talk about is, you know, how do you end this book? We talked about it a little bit when we met, but in terms of how you end a story like this,
Yeah.
where
I know that was the hard thing for me because it's probably not going to have like some rosy ending of like my aunt going to rehab and getting better and everything, and especially not in this time range. So I think what I want to do is kind of have talk to my mom and my family about like their like hopes and worries for the future, about like me, like this next generation. Like I have a little cousin. So I'm gonna go home this weekend and I'm gonna take portraits of my family members and like with myself in it too. And I don't know, I think I want, because my mom is like very worried about me, like in the sense that I'm gonna end up like her sister, like even like not so much with the drugs, but like mental health wise, or just like she wants to make sure that I'm gonna be okay. Like she's already like, oh, you have to make sure you like find a good like husband and like have kids and like everything. Like she wants everything to be better for me, I think. So yeah, I want to end it on something like that. And also like how my aunt too, like I don't know, she's like very open to this project. So yeah, because she wants it to show like her like turning a new leaf as well. So something like that. Yeah.
any other questions or? Yeah, please.
Another thing. Like, I think that some of the most evocative pictures of the whole project are the ones with you in it.
Mhm.
And I think like that's not something that I've really seen before in like a photojournalism project or anything like that. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like a, oh shit, you know.
Yeah. I definitely, I want to do more of that. I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah,
And I'm also going to incorporate my own journals too, because
I
I'm a
think, yeah.
big journaler. So that'll be interesting as well, because that like really shows like how worried then I am about my mom.
Yeah.
Well, this is just really beautiful work, as I've shared with you before. And this is it's really powerful. You know, usually when people want to do stories on their own family, you know, you never know quite how it's going to come out. You know, sometimes you get really close to the topic that way, you know, or sometimes there's a lot of role conflict and people aren't able to navigate it, you know, visually very successfully at all. This is just nothing but wow, to me.
Oh,
Really compelling.
cool.
It evokes empathy. Um, just really, really powerful. So
Oh, thank you.
yeah.
It's been a labor of love. But yeah, I think I needed to do this project too, because it's taught me a lot. Like, yeah, about my own family. So, and why things are the way they are. So yeah. I was also just surprised that my professors let me do this project on like my capstone on my own family. I'm like, wow, they are messing up. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, that's yeah. Are you we're gonna meet later. I guess next month. Um, are we? Are we supposed to meet?
Or it's like later this month, I think.
Okay, later this month. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, are you going to the Northern Short Course?
No.
You're not? Okay. We have some people going. I was just curious if my students were going to get to meet you in person.
Oh my gosh, no, that would have been great. I like totally didn't. You have to apply to that, right? I did not apply, I don't think.
Oh no,
Oh, it's so you
no,
sign up.
it's a yeah, it's a seminar. And it's going to be it's going to be in May. So like right after commencement usually.
Oh, okay. That would be
So
cool.
you have time.
I have time. That's a good idea.
It's going to be in DC.
Okay, that would be so fun. I love like meeting everyone. I went to like Kentucky Mountain workshops this year. That was also fun if anyone was there.
Yeah, I bet you got good feedback on this project there as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was just at the beginning there, and then I was like, what do I do?
All right, well,
But-
thanks for doing this. It's
Yeah.
awesome seeing you, and it's great to get a chance to introduce you to my students.
Yes, reach out to me anytime. You can find me on Instagram. Thanks, guys.
See you
Bye.
later.
And thanks.